Good morning, students. Welcome to computer science class. Today is first day of your academic semester. Here I am going to give you the introduction part of your computer. Means what is a computer, how data stored in a computer. Okay, when you want to retrieve information from a system, how you can retrieve, in which format the data is stored inside the computer. That we'll discuss today. Okay, so what is a computer? Computer is a electronic device. Okay, what it is a electronic device, and it will process the data. Okay, means whatever instructions, whatever data the user gave, it will process the data and it will perform different arithmetic and logical operations on that data, and it will produce the output. So here I'll give you a small diagram of computer. Here we have mainly two units. We have input, next up process, next output. So here what is the input? Whatever data, whatever instructions the user gives to the computer is called as the input. Okay, so based on the instructions given by the user, it will process the data and it will produce the output. Okay, understood? So what is a computer actually? It is an electronic machine, first one, and it will accept the input from the user. That input can be a data or that can be an instruction. So whatever instructions the user has given, with that instruction it will process the data and it will give the required result to the user. Actually this is the internal workflow of the computer. Okay, so here, so mainly how many units we have inside the system? There are two units. One is the input unit and one is the output unit. Whatever data and instructions the user is giving, that will come under input unit, and whatever output it is producing to the user, that is called as output. And to give an input, we'll use the different input devices, and to produce output on the monitor, we'll use different output devices. Okay, so this is about your computer. Computer is an electronic machine. It's an electronics device. It will process the data based on the instructions given by the user. Okay, and after processing the data, it will produce the result on the output devices. Okay, so in order to take input from a user, okay, in order to take input from a user, it will take the help of input unit and input devices like a keyboard, mouse, scanner. So those will come under the input devices. So if the user want to give any input to the user, then the particular user has to use the input devices, the devices which are used to give input to the system. Okay, like a keyboard, mouse, scanner. Okay, all those devices will come under input devices. And what is the use of the input devices? Input devices are used to give input to the system. Understood? And whatever input, whatever data the user has given, that will be stored inside the system. Inside the system, we have a memory. Inside the memory, like in your mobile, you have a memory card, internal memory. Similarly, in the computer also, there is a storage unit where the data is stored. And who will give the data? The user will give the data. So whatever data the user has given, that data and instructions stored inside the storage unit. Okay. Next, after storing the data, if the user has given any instructions, that instructions also stored inside the memory. Next, whatever instructions the user has given, that instructions are performed on the data, and that will next the result will be produced to the user as the output. So in order to display output to the user, again we'll use output devices. The system will use output devices like a monitor, printer, speakers. Understood? So this is the internal structure of system. In computers, there are two units. One is the input and the second one is the output. unit is used to collect input from the user, whereas output unit is used to display result to the user. So in order to collect input from the user, we'll use input devices, and in order to display output to the user, computer use the output devices. Understood? So now the next, how data is storing inside the system. Storing data inside the system. This is very important. As a computer science students, you should know how the data is stored. Okay. So example, I want to store information like A, B, C, D inside the system. A, B, C, D inside the system. But actually it is computer is a electronic device, and this computer stores information in a digital format. Digital format means zeros, ones, zeros and ones. Digital in the number format. So computer will understand only the machine language, and that machine language contains the binary digits. Understood? So you leave that. So whatever information you will enter, that information should be stored inside the system. Okay? But the system will store data in a digital format, in the number format. So finally, what should happen is, whatever data you are entering, that should be converted into a number format. Understood? In which format the system will store the data? In number format. So if you want to store any information inside the system, in which format that information should be stored? In the number format. So there is a need of translation. So whatever data you have entered, that should be converted into a number format. Okay. So whatever number format the system will understand is called as a binary format. Understood? What number format the system will understand? Binary format. Binary means there is only two digits, 0 and 1. Okay. So finally, whatever you want to store, that should be converted into a binary format. Understood? What format the system will understand? In which format the system will store the data? The binary format. So finally, whatever information you want to store inside the system, that should be stored in a binary format. Okay. But in which format we are entering information? Example, in English. How that information should be converted into a binary format? Okay. Actually, it is a long process. Time being, in short, I will explain. Clear? So, A, B, C, D, this is a character. I want to store this information inside the system. But system will understand only the binary. So, this should be converted into the binary. Understand? So, whatever format you have entered, that should be converted into the binary format. But how will you convert this character into a binary format? Understand? I want to store this information inside the system. I have information in a text format, in a character format. So that should be converted into a machine format, is a binary format. So directly converting this character into a machine language is difficult. Okay, because how will you convert character into a binary? It is not possible. So in the system, here we have one format called, one value called ASCII value. American Standard Code for Information Interchange. American Standard Code for Information Interchange. It is very important. In next 3 semesters, 4 semesters, 5 semesters also, you will get this ASCII value. ASCII, American Standard Code for Information Interchange. And actually it is called as the encoding format. Encoding format. Encoding format means, actually total how many characters we have on the keyboard. For each and every character, I think we have a 108 or 104. It depends. Again, it depends on the keyboard. Okay, 104 standard keys you will get on the keyboard. Okay, so for each and every key on the keyboard, there is a standard decimal value. Means whatever value we know, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever number format we are using, that is called as a decimal. Okay, so total 104 keys on the keyboard for each and every character. Each and every key on the keyboard, there is a standard decimal value. So whenever you enter any character, okay, whenever you enter any character using a keyboard, then what happened internally, in place of the character, that decimal code will be represented. Means example, if I have entered capital A decimal value is 65, example. So whenever you press A on the keyboard, capital A, in place of capital A, internally, what code will be replaced? 65. So this 65 is converted into a binary format like this. 230 to the 64. One is a reminder. 260 0. 2 8 is a 60 0. 2 4 0. 2 2 0 2 1 0. Can you see this? This is a character I have entered. For this character, the standard decimal value is a 65. So in order to store this A into the system, you need to convert this decimal number into a binary format. How will you convert? By using this 2. You will divide this decimal value with the 2. 232 is a 64, the remainder is 1. Next 216 is a 32. 2 8 is a 16. 2 4 is a 8, remainder is 0. 2 2 is a 4, remainder is 0. 2 1 is a 2, remainder is 0. Understood? So this is a binary conversion. Clear? So whenever you enter any character, that should be converted into the, means whenever you enter any character, whenever you press any key from the keyboard, on the keyboard, that internally decimal value of that key will be replaced. Next what we'll do is we'll convert that decimal number into a binary. Now you can say this. You need to check this in the reverse order. See, reverse order. Just a minute, just a moment. See here. The last one is a 1000. Means in the reverse order you need to take. First, last digit is 1 0 0 0. 1 2 3 3 zeros 4 5 5 zeros. The last one is a 1. Okay. So this is a binary value. Means the system will, whenever you enter A, the system will store in this format. Understood? So whatever information you enter, whatever key you press on the keyboard, finally binary value of that character should be stored inside the system. So this is a binary value of capital A. Understood all of you? Time being, in the next topic, you have arithmetic operations. Again at that time I will explain. Time being, only the thing you need to remember is whenever you press any key on the keyboard, the decimal number of that key will be stored inside the system, means that will be replaced. So that decimal value will be converted into the binary. Whenever you enter any key, the decimal value of that key will be converted into the binary, and that binary will be stored inside the system. Why we are converting this decimal value, this character, into the binary value? Because the system will understand only the binary language. So that is why whatever characters you enter, finally that should be converted into a binary. How to convert? Here I have explained. The decimal value of A is standard decimal value 65. This 65 you divide with the 2. Okay, 232 is a 64. Remainder is 1. 216 is a 32. Remainder is 0. Like this. Understood? Till the remainder is 0, you divide. You will get this value. Understood? Again you multiply this with 2 0, 2 1, 2 2, 2 3, 2 4, 2 5 to the power of 6. Again you will get the same number. Decimal number you will get. So this is about storing system of your system. Okay. So whenever you enter any information, that information should be converted into the binary format. So in order to convert your character into the binary format, we are taking the help of the decimal value, standard decimal value of each and every key, whatever you press on the keyboard. Understood? So this is about your storing. We completed input, completed output, and how the data is stored inside the system. That process we completed. Now we'll discuss about the characteristics. Characteristics of computer. Okay, what characteristics you have? Okay, so here I'll give you the list of the characters. So this is only the introduction part. The next class will start your syllabus. But what is a computer? What characteristics you have? How the data is stored? You should have knowledge, because you are all computer science students. You should know each and every point of every information about your computer. So that is why here I am explaining the total, the beginning. Again, ABCD of your computer. From the beginning I am explaining. In the next class we will start the generations. Today we will discuss about this characteristics. Okay. Now I will give you the list of the characteristics. Now here we have a list of characteristics of computers. The first one is the speed. See, one of the important characteristic of computer is the speed, and the speed of the computer is measured in a MIPS, millions of instructions per second. Okay, so computer is a fast device, fast calculation device. So it will perform thousands of calculations per second. Okay, so in order to perform that calculations, a person need a month or a few weeks to perform that calculations. The same calculations can be performed by the system in a seconds, in a millions of, in a 2 or 3 seconds. It will perform that calculations. Understand? A human can take the weeks or months to perform a complex mathematical calculations, and the same calculations performed by the system in a few seconds. So that is why computer is called as a very fast mathematical calculating device. Okay, so compared to human being, it will perform the calculations with the thousands of thousands of speed. Okay, next the speed of the computer is measured, millions instructions per second, MIPS. It's very, very important. Okay, now next come to the accuracy. Accuracy means what? Without any mistake. And one of the main characteristic of computer is it's a very accurate machine. Means it will perform all the mathematical and logical calculations without any mistake. Without any mistake. Sometimes it may produce wrong result, but the wrong result produced by the system is not a mistake of the system. Whatever instructions given by the user, maybe there is a mistake in that instructions, but computer will never perform any mistakes. If there is a mistake, means that mistake is done by the computer operator or the person who is giving the instructions, but not by the computer. Computer is a 100% accurate machine without any mistake. Means it won't perform any mistakes. Now come to the diligence. Diligence means it will perform any task. Example, if I give any task continuously for a person, means all day if you are giving continuously you are giving an instruction, what happened? That person will tired. Okay, means he may be not perform with that much interest, okay, that much skill. But in case of computer, if you'll give calculations, if you give multiple tasks or same task for day, for month, for year, it will perform same, it will perform all the calculations with the same speed, means that with the means it will perform without any tiredness. It won't tired, means it will perform with the same activeness, means it won't tired if you give the work for hours, for months, for year, without rest also. If you give multiple same task number of times also, it will give the same result. It won't get tired. If you give same task to a person, a human, for 24 hours, even for 6 or 8 hours, the person may tired. But in case of computer, it won't tired. It will produce the result and it will perform the calculations for years, for months, continuously without any tiredness. Okay, so that is why diligence is also one of the characteristic of computer. Now, reliability. What is the next characteristic of computer is reliability. Reliability means blindly you can depend on the computer. Example, nowadays every company, every corporate company, they are using computers in order to store their information. Okay, means without computer actually there is no industry. Nowadays everyone they are implementing everything using a computer only. And why? Because they can blindly rely on the computer, because whatever information it is storing, it is secure. Whatever result it is giving, it is accurate. And whatever they are doing monetary transactions using a computer. Why? Because computer is that much reliable. Means blindly you can depend on the result, whatever it is giving, and blindly you can depend on the computer, means whatever information you are storing inside the computer, your information was very secure. Understood? So that is a reliability. It's nothing but a trust. Okay. Next, versatility. Versatility means, example, if I give multiple tasks to you, it is difficult to complete. It is not important. It is difficult to complete that task simultaneously. But in case of computer, if you give multiple tasks, it will perform that multiple tasks simultaneously without any tiredness and without producing any wrong result. So that is called as a versatility. Means actually computer is also called as a multitasking machine. Means at the same time it will perform multiple tasks with more efficiently. Means it will perform the task with more efficiently. Same means if you perform a single task also, it will give the same result. If you perform the multiple tasks at the same time also, it will give the same result. So versatility means performing multiple tasks at the same time. So computer is a versatile machine. Means it will perform multiple tasks at the same time with same enthusiasm. Okay, the enthusiasm. The next one is the storage capacity. I think you all know this. Storage means what? Whatever information you have, you are storing any information into the system. That is nothing but the storage. Means in the storage devices will store the information. Storage capacity means how much data it can store. You can store a large volume of data. But whatever data you are storing, that should be in a number format. Understood? And what unit we use to measure the storage? Byte system we use. Okay, byte system. MB, GB, KB, TB. Okay, petabyte, the last one is a petabyte. In case of different units, okay, we'll store the data into the system. I think you all know the 2 GB, 3 GB. Okay, that is a unit, the measurement of the storage. So here we have the basic unit of storage, measuring the storage is byte. 1 byte equals to 8 bits. Storage capacity means it is one of the characteristics. Means inside the system you can store thousands of huge volume of data. Okay, large volume of information you can store inside the system, and that information you can store that information on permanent basis also. Okay, Now the last one is a quick decision. Computer will give the decision, means it will give the result in very fast. Just you need to give the instructions, and whenever it will take the instruction from the user, immediately it will start the action, and it will stop the action when it will complete the task. Meanwhile, it won't need any information from a user. So that is why it is also called as automatic machine. So it is automatic, obviously it will give the result very fast. So that is why using a computer, organization can take quick decision. So this is also one of the characteristic. And next, one more characteristic is consistency also you can write. Consistency means the same task you are giving in a different days, one day, second day, third, it will give the same result. Means whatever how it is producing the data, how it is calculating the output and everything is a unique. That is called as a consistency. Okay, so these are the characteristics of computer. Most of the characteristics I think you all know it already. Just I am revising. Now when you come to the limitations, what limitations we have? The first one is whatever computer is doing, whatever it is calculating, based on the user instruction only, means it needs instructions from the human. And the second one is it does not have a IQ, means how to calculate, what to calculate, it doesn't know. So that instruction is given by the user only. And next, its work, it means it is completely dependent on the electric power. Okay, and it is cost. It is depends on the it is not actually, it is one of the disadvantage. Only this, whatever it needs to perform, all the instructions given by the user. Okay, so it's completely depends on the user instruction only. That disadvantage we have. Understand? So this is about the introduction part of your computer. Clear? So what is a computer? How data stored inside the computer? And what are the characteristics of the computer? And what limitations you have? That we completed today. Okay, it is only the introduction class. The next class will start your syllabus actually. Okay, and what is this computer? That definition you will get. Maybe in the exam they won't ask the characteristics because that is a SSC level. But before starting our actual syllabus, actually it is nothing but the recalling whatever you studied in your SSC. Okay, so this is about your computer characteristics, limitations. In the next class, we'll discuss about the your syllabus, means the generations of computers, what generations you have. That is very, very important. Okay, and one more thing I want to tell you is, first topic, second topic, first unit, first chapter, second chapter is completely interdependent. So if you bunk one chapter, if you won't watch the video of the one class, it may be difficult for you to understand the second topic. So my sincere request is you try to watch videos regularly without bunking. Okay, thank you.